Kinesthetic sense is your sense of the position and movement of your body parts. Whenever I play soccer, I have to focus on my body position in order to receive the ball a certain way and dribble with it. While I'm dribbling, passing, or running, I use my proprioceptors to provide information about my joint angles, muscle length, and tension. I also use my kinesthetic sense when I'm skiing. In order to allow myself to gain speed, I have to lean forward and bend my knees. If I want to turn, I have to lean one way. My kinesthetic sense helps me with the movement and position of my body when I ski and play soccer. As described by the Ash experiment, conformity is the tendency of people to go along with the views or actions of others. Every time the firm's soccer team has a game, we wear matching shirts or outfits. Similarly, with my sailing team, I usually conform and match with the rest of the group for the opening parade. With my Barrington soccer team, we also conform and wear our pink FCX shirts for a dinner. Even though I might not want to match everyone on that day, I still conform because I want to be liked and accepted by the group, as defined by normative social influence. Social facilitation is when the presence of others boosts the performance of somebody. What you do well, you are likely to do even better in front of an audience or others competing. As I sail in regattas or competitions, I enjoy having more sailboats to race against because it makes me more competitive. Since I'm comfortable and confident sailing against a few boats, it makes me more excited to race against many other people, which is the reason why I perform better. Band is also an example of where social facilitation occurs. Since the Frem Band program consists of 5 different bands, it increases the competition drastically. However, this increase in competition only helps me become a better flute player. Flashbulb memory is a clear, vivid memory of an emotionally significant moment or event that is triggered by something else. When my grandma bought me my Jeep, it was a very important moment for me. Once my grandma finished paying for everything, a siren alarmed and we rang a bell. Now every time I hear a siren similar to the Blackhawks one, I think of the time my grandma bought my first car. Another flashbulb memory was my first helicopter ride. We soared over Lake Delavan on a beautiful day. I was so excited to see the lake that I normally sail on from above. Now every time I hear the sound of a helicopter or an airplane, I think of this special moment. In class, we learned about daily hassles from the Lazarus annoyance scale. These daily hassles are normally small stressful events that happen throughout the course of the day. After taking the annoyance scale test, I've learned that I get annoyed very easily by small things. For instance, I absolutely despise people that pick their nose in public, or just group chats in general. Uplifts, on the other hand, are small events that are positive and brighten the mood of someone's day. Certain uplifts make my day so much better, like when I come home to my dog greeting me, or when I get to go to Panda or out for lunch with one of my friends. Observational learning or social learning is when we learn by observing and imitating others. We learn all these behaviors through a process called modeling. Our mirror neurons are also used as we observe others performing an action that we want to imitate. As a kid, I always looked up to my sister. When we would go skiing, I would always watch her go first so that I could observe. Eventually, I would then try it by myself. Another example of observational learning was when I had to learn how to tie knots at a sailing course. Our teacher would show us how to tie it, and then we would have to replicate it. The class watched him tie the knot first so that we could observe and imitate him through observational learning. Drive reduction theory was founded by Woodworth and Hull. It is when a physiological need creates an aroused tension state or drive that motivates an organism to satisfy the need and reach a homeostasis or a balanced internal state. Primary drives are biological needs, like food, water, or air. For primary drives, I have an interaction of inner pushes from being hungry and external pulls from wanting a type of food. Secondary drives are learned through experience or conditioning, like when I want money, or I have a desire to win sailing competitions. Easy temperament is shown when a child is adaptable, positive, happy, and hardly frustrated. As a child, I would always go with the flow, as my mom said. When given food, I would hardly get irritated with the bottle. And as I grew up, I always had fun with Angela and my sister. We would always find ways to have fun, like hanging out in our old crib. My mom also made me join in a Girl Scout troop, where I easily fit in and had no problem making friends. Being 16 now, I still have a positive outlook on life and try to make new friends every single day. Relative deprivation occurs when we compare ourselves with others, which makes us feel like we are worse off than them. Around prom season time, many girls post pictures of their prom dresses. When I scrolled through the different dresses, I felt a sense of relative deprivation because I felt their dresses were prettier than mine. I would also look at the amount of likes and followers they had, which also made me feel inferior. Whenever I have free time, I watch videos about famous soccer players. However, I always feel discouraged by how good they are, which makes me have feelings of relative deprivation, because I compare myself with them and make me feel like I am worse off than them. General stress test is used to discover the level of stress that somebody is obtaining. It concluded and told me that the level of stress in my life is moderate and that I'm handling frustrations quite well. Around AP testing, I have a lot of stress, which causes me to have physical effects, like sleep deprivation and tension in my neck. All of this is unhealthy, but the way that I cope with stress is by laying on the ground. For some reason, a hard surface on my back relieves pain. I also love to get ice cream or bake cookies with my mom in order to get my mind off of stressful things like homework, testing, and school in general. Every day I try to fit in with the social norms by observing others. When I want to stand out, I become competitive, even if I think others are better than me. I'm also adaptable to many environments because of my easy temperament. However, I get flustered with hassles that cause me stress. Thus, in the future, I will be very successful because I'll be able to observe the things that my business partners want, distinguish the more important drives, and continue to be adaptable in the workforce. I will try to not always use relative deprivation and conformity, but instead focus on myself and my own strengths and weaknesses, so that I can be unique and independent.